Hi folks, welcome to Applying the Sword. I'm Micah Pilcher. Walt Disney, not a company known for its controversial titles, has managed to gin up much discussion over its new live-action remake of The Beauty and the Beast. It all started with a comment made by the film's director, Bill Condon, an open homosexual. He told the outlet Attitude that in this version of the film, the character LeFou has a gay moment with the character Gaston. He said, quote, LeFou is someone who on one day wants to be Gaston, and on another day wants to kiss Gaston. He's confused about what he wants. It's somebody who's just realizing that he has these feelings. Unquote. He continued, quote, and Josh makes something really subtle and delicious out of it. And that's what has its payoff at the end, which I don't want to give away, but it's a nice, exclusively gay moment in a Disney movie. Unquote. And that's all he said. He never elaborated on what he meant by exclusive or gay moment. Immediately, the controversy swelled and speculations multiplied. For those Bible-based conservatives like myself, belief that Disney has a gay agenda or that they might eventually choose to cross the line in a big way was an easy one to entertain. But of course, no one knew until the movie actually came out what its contents were, and I personally heard every extreme prediction, condemnation, and defense imaginable, and I was determined to reserve judgment. Well, I finally saw the movie recently. In terms of the so-called gay moment, it was largely smoke. Honestly, if I had entered the movie without knowing that LeFou was supposed to be gay, I could never have proven that he was supposed to be. He was highly effeminate, yes, but no more than, say, Jack Sparrow or any number of other Disney characters that we've brought into our homes for the last few decades. With that being said, knowing that LeFou is supposed to be gay gives all of his lines and scenes a double meaning, and sometimes it's actually kind of creepy. The end of the movie, for instance, features a ballroom dance in which LeFou accidentally twists away from his female partner into the arms of a man. Now, this is the kind of gag that's been a favorite routine of slapstick comedians since the Three Stooges. But knowing what we knew about LeFou and the movie as a whole before we bought the ticket gave the scene and so much else about the movie a whole new interpretation. I suspect this was part of the plan all along. I'm not speaking of a conspiracy as much as I am speaking to the nature of an artist with an agenda to push the envelope. And when Mr. Condon had the opportunity to sling some spice and generate talk, he couldn't help himself. If that were the case, it was successful, albeit unnecessary. The film was good enough to stand on its own 2 feet. It was artistically exquisite with a much more developed mythology, character arc, and overall sense of realism than its animated predecessor. It featured 5 of the original songs and added 4 new ones by my count. I wouldn't go so far as to say it was superior to the original, that's in the eye of the beholder, but it's good enough to make some people say as much. By way of quick mention, there were a couple of other minor controversies. The first pertained to the ahistorical use of black actors to play parts in a movie set in 18th century France. Some suggest this was more evidence of Hollywood attempting to rewrite history or to make multiculturalism popular. Maybe it was, but I think it's such a minor point that it barely deserves addressing. Second is that the film promotes bestiality, as it portrays a woman falling in love with a non-human. I feel comfortable dismissing this one outright. Those who are familiar with both versions of the film, as well as its literary origin, should know that this conclusion is not the deduction of a perceptive mind, but the hysteria of a paranoid one. At no point does the story take a sexual over- or undertone. In the end, there is no exclusively gay moment in Beauty and the Beast, but the stink of the artist's heart bleeds through for those with the eye to see and the ears to hear. The movie is another opportunity to raise certain talking points amongst Christians that pertain to Disney or Hollywood as a whole, because even if Beauty and the Beast is not exclusively gay, Disney is. They've pushed the envelope in a much more bold and public way in the past, and Hollywood as a whole is even worse because they don't have to pretend to be family-friendly. Christians need to ask themselves where the line in the sand is. It's a question that must be asked before the line is crossed, not after. I suspect that given the principle of Christian liberty, the line will be in a different place for every Christian, and I suppose that is not the point. If we set our affections on God rather than the things of this world, then we will be blissfully removed from the hair-splitting questions pertaining to how much is too much. Because if a person is willing to go to war over a movie, it may indicate that their heart is in a place that doesn't really care whether it is a gay movie or not.